as G. Bush knows, he lived this. Football games are won at the line of scrimmage. Who gets the push? Who has more strength and dominance up front? When the Browns' offense has the ball, their offensive line, we know they're getting a little long in the tooth, and they had a down year last year. But Cincinnati's D-line, outside of one guy, has some question marks on it. Who has the advantage up front when the Browns are on offense?
Well, look, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think this is one area of opportunity where the Cleveland Browns may have a slight advantage. Now, Trey Hendrickson is I would call him a top 5 pass rusher in the league. He just signed, and I think he's going to always, do his thing. But in terms of the rest of the guys, they got Stewart, who's a young guy, and I'm looking at the level of play that we have from the center to the guards. Now, Ethan Pocic is going to play in this game. He was banged up. He had the knee thing going on. But I think when you talk about it, you got to give Conklin the respect. You got to give Wyatt Teller. Joe Bitonio came back. I think he's in better shape than he was last year. And DeJuan Jones, hopefully he can turn into a top-notch left tackle of the future. But from 1 to 5, if the Cleveland Browns are able to have all those guys healthy, I think they have a slight advantage over the Cincinnati Bengals. And this is one of the areas where I think that they have a slight advantage. But we'll see how they're able to run the football. We talked about the play-action game and see what that's going to do. But if the Cleveland Browns can control the trenches and run the ball and keep Trey Hendrickson off the quarterback and make him get off blocks and double teams and things like that, I think that'll bode well for the Browns offense.
Remember early last season when Deshaun kept getting sacked and everyone kept yelling about how terrible the Browns offensive line was, and then Jameis Winston came in and suddenly the Browns offensive line was so unbelievably better? Yeah, this is not a bad offensive line. It's aging, it's getting older, there's no question, but this is still a very good unit. I would give them the advantage. I know Trey Hendrickson's a top player. All the respect in the world to him. Outside of him, I don't know, Bull knows better than I, but I think the Bengals are thin up front outside of Trey. I really like this Browns. When the quarterback is where he's supposed to be, the line knows how to protect and set their protections based on, hey, the quarterback's supposed to be 8 yards. Why is he at 6? Joe Flacco knows where to stand in the pocket. They'll be fine.
All right.
So I would split it up into 2 kind of sections. I think on the outside, it's pretty close. I might even give the Bengals a little bit of an edge. Trey Hendrickson against DeJuan Jones, to me, is edge Bengals. On the other side,
I think that's big edge Bengals.
Yeah, to me, on the other side, Shamar Stewart's a rookie. I really don't know what to expect from him. He's got a lot of talent, didn't get a lot of sacks. Great athlete, didn't get a lot of sacks in college. You see, only 1.5 sacks last year. So I don't know, and Conklin's a hell of a, when he's healthy, he's a good right tackle. So overall, it's pretty close. I would say overall on the outside, slight edge Bengals. On the inside, it's not close. The Browns have a massive advantage. The Bengals' defensive tackles are, B.J. Hill is okay. Everybody else in their defensive tackle rotation is either terrible or unproven. So, and the Browns in the middle, the guards and center are good. Borderline great. I would say borderline at this point if they're, just because they've got a little older. But yeah, Pocic a little ding, but he should be fine. So in the middle, huge advantage to the Browns. So overall as a line, I agree, slight edge only because on the outside the Bengals got a little bit of an edge. But on the inside, that's the interesting thing though, is like the Browns have a big edge running the ball. Like the Browns offensive line versus the Bengals D-line is a massive edge to the Browns in running the ball. But do they have the backs?
Who's the running back?
Yeah, so that's going to be the interesting thing.
I think we're in agreement. I think the Browns do have a slight edge. I wouldn't say it's a big, huge advantage, but I do think that they are a little more talented overall. Hendrickson obviously is their strong link. What is DeJuan Jones going to look like over there? We don't know. We're going to start to find out Sunday. Unfortunately for him, his first test is as tough as a test as he'll face this year. That's quite an assignment. If he can handle Hendrickson, and we can throw the ball as well as running, that's how I think we stay in the game. I don't think we're going to win the game, but I do think that if we can run the ball well and keep Joe clean, and that's the biggest if, I think this can be an interesting football game.